So roasting on the crown just means on the bone. So this pheasant already has the wings, the legs and the back of the carcass removed. Now I need some help with the next step. So Claire, up you come. Right, so first up, we're going to make a little tarragon butter to put underneath the skin. So we don't need all of this butter, just a couple of little chunks. Yep, and a good handful of that tarragon, bit of salt and pepper. So tarragon's a sort of an aniseedy soft herb, and it goes beautifully with this delicate meat. And what I might do is we just do some very thin slices of garlic and we'll put those underneath the skin. This is that single bulb garlic, which is quite interesting. So just give that a good old mix. It needs to be soft enough so that it'll go under the skin. So you've mixed that together, a little bit of lemon juice. And have you been quite heavy with the seasoning? Because that's the key with this.
I think we probably need some more.
Okay. And the reason you want to be quite heavy with the seasoning is because this is part of the seasoning on the bird. And we'll use a bit of this to finish it off in the pan when it comes out. All right? Right, what you do is you just pull back the skin and then you just push your finger in. And being very careful not to tear it, you draw your finger back down to the front. And what you'll find is that it's connected on that central breastbone. So you've got to be careful. If you try and run your finger over the top of it straight away, it's going to tear. So you've just got to be really gentle. And that's why I'm drawing it back down towards myself. All right? But what we're going to do is just going to put this butter underneath the skin and spread it evenly. Now this will melt out fairly quickly, but what it will leave as it melts is that lovely tarragon and that salt and pepper. And then what we'll do is put in a couple of little slithers of that garlic, just so that it puts a bit of flavour on the breast, all right? And then you can do the other side. I love the idea of using a soft butter. I think it's really nice. What you're doing is you're trying to give it a bit of protection. And what they use with a lot of games, if they're not fatty, is a little piece of speck or fat. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but things like grouse, for example, in Europe, they'll put a little bit of speck or bacon over the front, and you actually cook it with that speck on, and what it does is it acts as a barrier to stop the heat penetrating the breast while the legs cook. The whole purpose is to keep it moist and to act as a barrier, and this is much the same. So a speck or a bacon, a butter, or another type of fat. Perfect. We're done. Claire, good job.
Thanks, Gary.
Dirty little hands, but good job. Okay, so pheasant's ready to go. It's on the crown, the butter's under the skin, it's got a little bit of seasoning on the flesh. Now we're going to just give it another little season, and that includes in the cavity as well. And we just want to maximise the flavour because it's not going to take that long to cook. I reckon about 12 to 15 minutes at the most, all right? And even though it won't stay in there, not for very long, I'm just going to put that lemon and a bit of that tarragon and a little bit of this garlic just in that cavity, because anything I reckon that gives you that little bit of flavour is great. And I'm going to cook the bones in there as well, as if I'm going to make a gravy au jus, just to show you. Now, actually, in this dish, we're not going to use it, but it's important that you understand the process. What it will do is show you that you can make a beautiful little gravy out of all this. So, hot pan, a little bit of oil. We're going to chuck in those little bones, because we'll use those as a trivet. And then, good technique to follow. It's a bit like when I showed you how to grill a steak. Try and work methodically, all right? And what I do is I always put breast side down, but breast side to the edge of the pan, all right? And that's going to give its first little caramelisation on the skin. Now, we're going to do this again at the end of the cooking in terms of basting. So this is about introducing a little bit of crisp, a little bit of golden brown, but not a massive amount. And the butter is going to melt pretty quickly, leaving that seasoning behind. All right? That smells absolutely delicious already. So what I'm doing is I'm just flipping this just to make sure that the fat is rendering and that it's starting to caramelise. I'm just going to bring that little trivet of bones in close to the crown so it's nice and secure. And I'm going to make sure that I do this a couple of times during the process, but just give it a baste. And then we're going to pop that in the oven. Okay? So, pheasant's in the oven, 180 degrees, 12 to 15 minutes, which I think is just long enough for George to nip in and make this beautiful little pea, salsify and baby shallot garnish that's going to go with our pheasant dish.
After the break...
It's also known as goat's beard. Yeah?
George picked some unusual ingredients for his outstanding side dish for Gary's pheasant. And then...
Hi guys, I'm Lauren Murdoch. Welcome to Ash Street Cellar.
4 fabulous and quick dishes from the Queen of Tapas, Lauren Murdoch. And later in Masterclass...
So what you're looking for is this lovely sort of glossy, thick mixture that you can literally pour into the moulds.
Dessert decadence, when the boys whip up an outstanding chocolate fondant with an amaretto milkshake.
Fantastic.